Have you ever wondered how to start a coaching business? Coaching business is a business like any other. So you need some kind of funnel to get in your customers, the people that will be paying for your services. So the best funnel out there is probably your own website. Why? Because you can link and embed any payment processor, you can embed any testimonials, you can link some SEO and so on. But first and foremost, it's a placeholder for you on the internet. So it's just a page, it's just some kind of place, a digital place where you put your credentials, your text, your biography, your presentation, and your offer. So you need that. If you have some kind of following or some kind of big mailing list, I would suggest just doing a plain website anyhow, because you're going to drive from that mediums, from the social mediums to your website so they can book your meetings or they can buy your offer. Second, and the most important, is you need to focus on crafting an offer. An offer is simply put a product that has some kind of scope, what you will be delivering, how you will be delivering, when you will be delivering, and for, of course, what kind of price will you be delivering. Most of the coaches out there are trying different approaches, but most use either a paid first coaching session or a free coaching session. What I would suggest doing is doing a coaching session that's heavily discounted but not free. From my experience, and I've been doing coaching, counseling, and mentoring for more or less 24 years, I would suggest not doing it for free, but not doing it as a regular price either. Because that first session is probably getting to know the person. Perhaps that person will it will make hard for you to work with them or them to work with you. It's just not a good fit. So what I would suggest is doing a heavily discounted price for the first session, and you should also explain why. So why the discount happens is because you want to just filter out anybody that doesn't have any money or is not willing to spend any money, and at the same time you are showing up what the normal price is, and at the same time they are paying you for some little money for your time. So it's kind of a filter. Now, I'm not going to go into details why that's so valuable, but if you want, I'm going to do another video, or you can just ask in the comments. So that's for the first session. And that's part of the offer, because that's kind of a test session. And then you have to decide what kind of package, what kind of price will you specify for your sessions. Usually people try to do kind of a per item session, so I mean money per session, but because people are, we are tricky that way, it tends to be working better if you package it. Packaging just means that you sell by a package, a 5 session, 10 session, a yearly session, a quarterly session, whatever. So what should you price it? I would say if you're a beginner, you should probably price it between 30 and 50 for a regular price session, and then just package it up. For the test session, I would suggest going from $5 to $10, depending on where you are, what you're willing to do, but that's probably a good number. Whether the packages you're working, somebody who's starting, if you're just starting, I would probably lean more towards a quarterly session, so that's for 3 months, and then just see how it goes, because you don't have the experience to see what kind of types of clients can you actually help out, and that's a big difference. If you have this golden customer service provider fit, that's really great, that's excellent, but usually when you first start, you don't even know what the customer fit session that's perfect for you actually looks like. Even if it's the first time that's perfect, you don't know if it's perfect for you. And third, you need to start looking into how to establish yourself in terms of legal and tax reasons. This just simply put means you're probably gonna do either individual proprietorship or you're gonna do an LLC or something. But before you go into all these expenses, you should probably test out whether you're actually getting the clients. So don't go and waste your money for forming an LLC before you have a first paying client. You can, of course, always say for the first client, my payment processing system is currently not working. Would it be okay for you if you paid for the first session via the PayPal, or just send me the money? Or you could just say, listen, something is going wrong here. I'm gonna invoice you as soon as I get it fixed. And that's just normal. You can also not say, don't try to lie. Don't say you have an established system. You say, I'm working on it to get it fixed. I'm working on it to get it better. So that's why I'm sending you the invoice later. You're also gaining a lot of experience by doing these sessions, and you see what works and what doesn't. So your first few clients are actually testing out you, and you're testing them up also. So take that in mind, and don't be so money focused on monetizing immediately. Testing out whether they're willing to pay is more important than whether they're paying you actually means. Because mostly you will spend a lot of money up front for some kind of services anyway. Now, then starts the real business, so to speak, what people are talking about scaling up and so to speak. So other things. That just means you have to do a lot of thinking, a lot of analyzing. What kind of clients are actually coming towards me? What kind of clients am I actually enjoying, or am I the most helpful to? Strictly speaking, people say that when you start a business, you should probably define your niche and niche down and find your niche market. But when you're starting, it's usually a bit more difficult to niche down and specify the niche because you actually don't know. So you should probably try out and start a lot of different things, and then you will see what kind of resonates with you. Which are you very effective and which one you like. And if that works for you, of course, then you found a potential niche for you. So don't overdwell of the niching and so on. So only when you have clients, start to think what combines the clients that I like working the most into some kind of group. What do they have in common? And then go from there, defining your hosts. As soon as you're thinking about the niche and your clients, you're going to start to think, where are these people hanging out? How can I use this knowledge about the people to market or use the content or use mails or whatever, or advertising to get more of these clients that I like? As simple or as hard as that. And from experience, and I can tell you from experience, it's actually very hard to do that. But that doesn't mean you should probably, bang your head before you get the first client. You should probably doing it as you evolve, as you scale up. And last but not least, always be on a lookout for some improvements. Check out whether the improvements are actually worth the money, are they worth the hassle, or just fluff and fluff, or are they actually benefiting you? There's a lot of service providers, a lot of services, a lot of solutions that are perhaps really great on paper and they have a really good marketing deck. But once you go to feel what helps you as somebody who's coaching somebody or giving advice or counseling or mentorship, you actually see it's actually a waste of your energy, duplicating your work. You should focus on your work, and the services that you will employ should help you out to do it better. Of course, sometimes it's a bit difficult to establish whether it's beneficial or not at the start. So you probably start and then think about it, whether it's helpful or not. Sometimes it's so what you employ, if it's not a clear answer in the first 5 hours of usage, it's probably a no. So that's it, how to start a coaching business. So first, make a funnel, a website, a simple website will do. Of course, if you're not such tech savvy person, you can of course, outsource and just hire somebody to do it for you. But I would reckon that there are some free solutions out there that work just as well. Or you could use a solution that's perhaps later payable, so that it's the freemium version. And just start to build the funnel. And then once you have this basic funnel of a website connected to a payment processor, so getting the money, so they have a means to ask your clients for money, then you start telling your friends and family that you've started the business. Perhaps you get a client from that mailing base, perhaps you won't. And then perhaps, giving some content out on the social media. And that, of course, can also some leads that you can perhaps turn into customers. Now, Bear in mind that from my experience, you can get customers quite fast, but that doesn't mean that the customers you get fast or soon or the first is going to probably be your best customer. It just means there's going to be somebody who you can work with. Usually, however, from my past experience, the first customers actually just struggle. But if you're a total newbie, that's just great because you're going to learn a ton by failing, by doing a crappy job, by seeing what ticks you off and what kind of client you don't want and what kind of client is really difficult to work with and what you like. So speaking in terms of business, coaching business, I would say it's just like any business. It's gonna evolve and you're gonna learn a lot. So if you get stuck into those niching down, and which I don't recommend, I recommend finding a niche later when you have clients. I would suggest something. If you're young, that means you're willing to learn. Meaning to learn means you have less opinions and you're more likely to listen what the other person is going to say and be curious about. If you're old, you have experience. If you have a specific experience, try to see it from a different lens. If you have, a general experience but not so specific, you have a lot of growth of knowledge so you can relate to people. There's always something you can use to your advantage. And sometimes it's even like that. The thing you think it's your most disadvantage, the most negative point about you, you can put into your advantage. If you're somebody young who's really great with technology, you're going to learn that you of course leverage that. And perhaps, try to be a technology coach. I don't know. And if you're an experienced, less tech savvy person, capitalize on the experience. Perhaps even, try to find somebody who will help you out. So whatever you do, just don't give up. And, think about it as a long run. You should have a client in the next 90 days if you're doing the work every day. And if you're posting on the social media that you're providing service. Now, the client doesn't have to be a paying client. Of course, that's the idea. But even if it's just a testing client or somebody who's willing to pay $5 just to do a testing session, it's so much great insight whether what works and what doesn't, and try to get some notes as soon as possible so they are fresh. And if it doesn't work, kindly ask for feedback. What you liked, what you didn't like, what would you think you could improve, and so on. Of course, that insight, that feedback is not always useful. Usually it's very useless in my point of view, but you can get some golden nuggets. You can, of course, see, I don't agree with that. And of course, you can look at what the competition does and so on. And I hope also that you realize it's a long business. So that also means you're going to spend a lot of time with people and developing your business. But it can be really great business. Talking to people and helping them out is a great business because you're going to see how they progress with your help. That's it all for me. Hope you liked it.